Midness on it. Konbanwa. Konbanwa. Hello, hello, hello. Maybe I should start a bit stronger. What's up, guys? It's your boy. How are you all doing? Ad break ends in 1 minute. Jesus, I just came in at the wrong time. Usually I wait for that ad to end. We'll do the hype intro again when everyone's here. Hey, Pinky, welcome in. Ad break ends in 20. Hope everyone is doing very well. Camera's all wrong. Oh, I've knocked it. Is that better? Too high. Welcome in, everyone. Good afternoon. Sorry about the weird start. I came in during an ad break. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. How are we all doing? It is Tuesday evening in Tokyo. I've messed up the camera now. I did my pre-stream checks. We have the title. We have the on-screen title. Everything's all good. We are doing, I think we're all above board today. Everything's ready and raring to go. We are obviously Tuesday evening, so we're back on the bonsai block. Yeah, we haven't done anything off stream. I've had zero time to work on this. We will get there eventually. Did you get a wired keyboard? I have a wired keyboard. The thing I need is a wireless keyboard. And no, I didn't. I haven't even looked. I spent like a fair amount. I got a mechanical keyboard. I was thinking there must be some dongles that you can just like stick into the back of a wired keyboard to get Bluetooth to the computer. Bluetooth, yeah? There must be a way to do that, like a little USB dongle. I should check it out. I should look. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into some carving. This today has to be sort of a sharpish stream. I am off very early tomorrow morning. I'm off to Nagoya. I'm off to Nagoya tomorrow. Rainy morning and week ahead. Oh no. I'd actually take some of that rain. It's scorchingly hot here today. The AC can't even keep up with it. Get some chisels. Let's get going. Flip over. Make sure we're all centered. All good. If there are any new people here, this is the image we're working on. We're working on the black lines for this. It's a bonsai print that I designed. That's it. Let's get rid of that. Let's just dig in. I was wondering what we should do today. It's been a little bit of the same. I mean, there's only a few elements. There's branches, trunk, or scroll. I guess there's a pot as well. Pot and some moss. That's kind of finicky work. Let's do some... Let's move over. Let's start with some U-gouging. I'm going to do a bit of U-gouging clearing over here. Hello again, Art. Welcome in. Thank you for showing up. I'm going to do some U-gouging. You can see that this is how I like to work on stuff. If there's any smaller areas like this, I get the U-gouge out first. Typically, this will all be done in like a seamless process. I'll do all the U-gouging before I move on. But this block kind of rushed the clearing one evening. We did that on stream, and then I never got to do the middle stages. So I'll do a bit of this now. Chat to some of you guys, see how everyone's doing. It's scorching hot here. Music. Let's get some music going. Just like that. I really have no gauge of how loud this music is, like actually on you guys' screen. Because I don't save it in the VODs, I never actually get to hear it myself. And if I try and play it during the tests and stuff to check the volume, like there's no way of doing that without playing the sound of my computer through as well. Oh, I didn't prepare my sample. It's all good. Thank you. Thank you for your assistance. I mean, it's for your benefit. So check me out, all professional. subtitles were all done before stream. It's been a few weeks where that hasn't been the case. It was becoming a little bit of an embarrassment. Once you do something twice, that's like, you know by now you should do better. I'm a creature of habit, you know, so I need to set up like a routine, a system. And if I haven't quite set up those routines and systems like spot on, and I'm running on autopilot, which I have been, like getting the stream set up the last few weeks. And that's how things slip through the cracks. Watching the stream growth in real time. And the stream, yeah, well, the streamer growth, I guess. By growth, you don't mean like number of viewers. It's just can he organize 2 boxes of texts before the stream? Oh, Icarus, fly not too near the sun, lest your waxy wings should melt. When I was an ALT, actually, I thought it'd be a cool idea to do the story of Daedalus and Icarus, like apropos of nothing, as a listening test. And the idea was like it'd be a slightly tricky story, and I'd just read it out, I'd record it, put it on the screen. But the idea was that they could like filter. There's a lot of words you're not going to understand, but there's like really common phrases and stuff you've been learning throughout, like scattered throughout the story. And when you're like a beginner, I think it's really important that you can like. That was my experience in those years. It's like I don't understand all the Japanese, but like I can pick out little bits here and there. And I think it's an invaluable skill when you're learning a language. But they got so thrown by the Greek names in the story that it like either they found it really easy or the average scores were not super high. I guess a lot of them just tuned out. Teaching stories, you don't get many of them from me. Hello, Ned Hart. Welcome in. Doing some U gouging. What did I do this weekend? I can't remember. Ah, I worked on some Patreon stuff. I'll show you a little bit later. I've got one of the samples. Remind me about that later. I'll show you some of the samples for the sticker books I made over the weekend. They've been a long time coming, and I'm glad that they're finally done. Mm-hmm. My own stream, yeah. Lots of spinning here. Sorry, I got a grain direction is sort of at changing point here. Using an ancient Greek story in English to cheat Japanese listeners is pretty ambitious. It was super easy. It was all multiple choice. It's just they couldn't follow. There's only 2 characters, but one is Daedalus and one is Icarus, and some of them couldn't like follow those 2 names because they were so like strange. was a very creative English teacher. An even more creative science teacher. I wish I could show some of my slide lectures, my lecture slides for my science. I was really proud of them. Some of them, like for one topic, it had like 160 slides. It was basically an art project. It was really fun. But it took me a ridiculous. I worked so much overtime to finish these lectures. I think they're still being used now. It's like they got it in the science curriculum now. I passed on all my lecture notes and like my syllabus. I did that one day. What did I do the other day? I know I did something. Does anyone feel like the days sort of blur into one? Sounds like they appreciate the effort then. Oh, the teachers, maybe. Well, I created the syllabus and I like handed it over to another teacher, so they didn't really have much of a choice unless the new teacher who had no experience like teaching in Japan was going to come in and like create their own syllabus. Maybe I could give a junior high science lesson on one of these streams. Teach about exotherms and poikilotherms. One thing I've been struggling with this week is my back. I've got something funny going on in just like one little knot in my back. Maybe it's from swimming, maybe it's from sitting. I guess it's tracing. It's not just the days, but the weeks now flash by as I reach my near Dave age. Matt, I shouldn't be telling you I feel old, but complaining about my back and complaining about the weeks, days, hours flying by. It's real. It happens. It comes for us all. I did make a couple changes. Finally organised the shout outs with thanks to Chicken Meister. He gave me some really good advice. Gave me some nice code to put into the Nightbot. So now, if we ever do get another raid, we can properly thank the folks flying in. And also, I set up a music channel in Discord, so people can put their music suggestions. Do really need to get on that and like expand this playlist a little bit. There's also a link to the playlist there if anyone wants to listen to it off stream. I listened to some more of that podcast, the Unpacking Japan. I felt really bad that I'd been like a little bit harsh on it. And I wasn't harsh on the podcast itself. It was just a couple points that put up. I know it's the third stream I'm talking about this, but I watched some other episodes. I watched the one. What's that artist's name? I know him from Instagram. It's David Hewitt or something like that. The guy who does Gold Leaf and then takes a brush and splashes a big streak of black ink across them. I watched that one, and I watched the Dorgan one. And both of those they were nice. No more ranting today, but I enjoyed them. The Dorgan one made me want to get back to properly studying Japanese. I've been thinking about it for a long time. Give me a second. Where was I? I just saw a line that hadn't been cut. We gotta find that. Where was it? Oh no. Ah, here it is. Can you see? A little line here. I forgot to cut. There we go. Now it's. I've lost it again. Okay, here we are. It's good to see some more knife work. We're back at it. Hooray! This is the bit we like. Did you want more slow, mid-tempo, jazzy stuff or high-tempo, cool stuff? I was on the fence about putting some of my weekly listens in there. They're a bit more high-tempo jazz. It depends if they're like quite experimental, like funky jazz. I think it becomes a little bit. You can't just passively listen to it. And my voice is the most important thing, obviously. So I think maybe some slower tempo stuff. Doesn't all have to be jazz, but I think that's the way we sort of lean. You can also just talk about music and share. I'd like to listen to some of your weekly listens too. Send them in. If they're appropriate, I'll add them in, but otherwise I'll just have a good listen during the week. Not really avant-garde. I don't know. It depends. Try me. Sensei Martian, welcome in. Hello. Would you like to be a guest on it to explain your apprenticeship? I don't think I'm really at the point where I'm doing like, I don't know. I'd like more of a body of work before I start going on and doing those stuff. I guess before I did anything like that, like I did the unfinished print. It was like my second year maybe of carving. Maybe not even that. It was more than 5 years ago. So yeah, it would have been like my second year maybe of carving. And like thinking back now, like why was I doing that? I was a nobody. I didn't know enough. And he's asked me to do that again. But I said not until like I've done some of my own projects and I've got something to actually like share. So maybe I'll do that one again once this print is up and running. Maybe the set is finished. There are 3 prints in this series. So stuff like that, I don't think I'd like to do anything like that right now. I was just complaining about like feeling old, but I'm still kind of young. There's time for all that stuff, you know. Time. The problem is, like, this project is like becoming a little bit frustrating to do it in these little snippets, like an hour of solid interrupted work once a week is not enough to make these sorts of prints, you know. So I'm still waiting on the color separation to come back from Asuka Sensei. Maybe he's already finished. I don't know. I'll find out tomorrow. But when that comes back, I might see if I can get a little pause on that type of work for a bit. I know there are some other projects he wants me to work on though. Is my volume high enough? It looks a little low on the readings. Maybe my mic's in a different spot. Yeah, the Dogen one made me want to get back into like studying Japanese. I've been thinking for a while, like when I came here, I just sort of locked into carving. I thought the most important thing for me, like, it's cool if I can like build a social media presence and do all this stuff, like travel Japan, learn Japanese, like promote myself as a carver and stuff. But instead of doing all that, I decided just to knuckle down and do the work and like save all of that for when I've actually got like a good set of skills behind me. I'm off camera. So I tend to play the long game. And starting this year, it's like I've got 4-point plan type thing to build on things. The first one was the website, and then it's starting a Twitch. So we're getting there. I'm implementing some of the things that I've been putting off for a long time. But one of the things I have been putting off is like really focused on getting high level Japanese. And I was looking for classes a little while ago. In my area, there's nothing really close. There's always online stuff. It'd be really good if I could do like an intensive thing. And I think Dogen has that podcast. No, his Patreon where he does the pitch and intonation and stuff. But I think if he just did a normal learn Japanese course, I guess he probably doesn't have the time. But if he just did like a normal learn Japanese, I think that'd do really well. There's a bunch of people that'd like to have his type of lessons. This one doesn't want to come off. There's a bit of a knot here. That's why it's coming off slow. The wood's really hard under there. And the grain direction is going a bit crazy. I guess it's a little shallow, just that 1 point. We might have a little bit of a short stream today because I've got to leave the house at 5:30 tomorrow. I think I mentioned last stream, but I'm going to Nagoya with Asuka Sensei to pick up some cherry wood. Second. Hot. We're going to Nagoya tomorrow, which is like, if the roads are clear, it's a 4.5 hour drive. So we're looking at probably 5 hours one way, probably more on the way back. Logs. Yeah. We're gonna pick up some big old cherry logs, and then we have to get them cut, and we have to load them up. Then we have to go to Orme, drop them in Orme on the way back to Tokyo, and then drop the car off. We've got to get back before 10 o'clock. できるかな? I think we'll be okay. That first stretch from Mount Fuji to Tokyo is always awful. Yeah, that funnel in the tunnel, right? Yeah, it's always not great. It's worse coming back, I think. We'll see. Hopefully, because it's Wednesday. I think we'll be okay. I think we can make it in time. But it's a lot of driving. I guess most of the people in chat are from America, so it's actually it doesn't sound very bad to you. First train in the morning. I think maybe it's the second. The trains from my current station, the line splits, so it goes one way, it goes down to Ueno, and the other way it goes to Shinjuku. And so we're competing with two train lines going like two very different directions. So it's a little bit sporadic, the trains. At peak hours it's okay, but like anything outside of peak hours, it's only like 4 trains an hour, I guess. Or that's what it feels like anyway. Not really sure of the name. I think it's the place they've been and got wood in the past. It used to be Aoyama-san and Asuka Sensei that used to go. No, it's me. I'm the designated driver. And it was Asuka Sensei's birthday the other day on the 31st. So we'll have to get him a bottle of sake on the way. It's a little bit far for me to get to Shinjuku. We're picking up the car in Shinjuku, but that's already like an hour journey for me. It'll be an interesting day. Lots to talk about that. I got a bunch of other tracing for the samurai print done this week. I finished down one whole side of his body. So I think pretty shortly I'll be finished with the tracing of the main body. Then I'll move on. There's like some kanji, bunch of text at the top. I finished the seal, like the main series title and stuff. But I think before I get actually carving on that, I will probably start working out some of the colors and have a think if I need to add any mudabori, like waist carving. So there might be some lines that I want to add onto the key block to help me register some of the other colors. There's a lot of like patterny stuff, especially in the brown on that image. So I might add some stuff like that. We'll talk about that again on. Are we tracing again next Friday? Maybe. It's funny, you know. We're dropping the wood off at Orme, and Asuka Sensei had asked me when I spoke to him last, like, do I know where things go in Orme? And I was like, yeah. Like, if you have the instructions from Dave, like, I didn't say this, but in my head I was saying, if you have the instructions from Dave where they need to go, like, I know it's on B1, we'll go down there, stack everything. I know how to organize that stuff for him down there. Because it's got to mature and age a little bit before we can get it sliced and turn it into blocks. And Anna mentioned it to Dave in passing today on the stream, just in the office, and apparently they hadn't actually communicated. Dave thinks they haven't communicated in a year about this. The last time they spoke about it, that's not true because I know they saw each other like a couple months ago, and they must have talked about it because Dave doesn't like me using my car for company stuff, for like insurance, and like if any accidents happen, the company can't be liable for like my personal vehicle. And so I got a message from Asuka Sensei saying that when we go and do the wood, that like we'll have to do a rent a car because Dave thinks like this. But then they hadn't spoken since that. We were just going to rock up at the house and surprise everyone. They hadn't spoken about it. Have you been there since the new shelving systems? Yeah. Was it already there when we did the Gomi run? We did a big clear out. I drove with Dave out there to get a bunch of trash. And I think that's when it just been finished. What is this song? Okay, remind me to remove that one. That's not cricket. What's the name of the last song? I just looked at the album. Sorry, it was called Ode to something. I don't know why I added that one in. You can look through the playlist is on the Discord. Advertisement for the Discord. Check it out. Is anyone here? I noticed that Koringami had made a post about the Mokankan, the Acolytes Discord, that they're making a Match Labels project. Is anyone here taking part in that? Seems like a cool idea. I know I've seen some little carvings people have already started of it. I'm really curious to see how it all turns out. Different question. Might try to carve one or two if they'll let this absolute beginner at it. If you're doing your own designs, you don't really need permission. That's the saying, it's easier to ask for forgiveness. Do what I was planning to do for the Hogseye series before I got taken on board as one of the main carvers. I was going to do a bonus 13th print for that set. I ended up doing something similar to that with the Patreon print last year. I did a little bit of a mashup. But my first print carving is coming along. And so I'm no good soon. Good luck. Is that the swan? Is that the... Was it swan? Is that your one? I might be confusing some names. Yeah, it is. I'm on it. I'm on it. I really want to take some time. Am I off camera? I am a little bit on it. This block is kind of long, so I can't get it in the normal position for my carving. Yeah. Yeah, I really want to get working on this. It's embarrassingly slow progress, just doing like a couple hours here and there. It's really quite frustrating because when I started carving this, I started off stream, and it was like I absolutely flew through this section of the carving. I started doing it on stream, and just like in little snippets. Well, it stayed dormant for a good while before I was carving over here. It's really difficult managing time for any personal projects right now. It's becoming a little bit impossible. I don't really know how to manage my time better. I'm already... Well, the problem is one is that I work as a government main day. I don't get to choose my work. It's sort of just... It's my job, and that's fine. Like fulfilling someone else's vision. But I also have some of my own projects and prints that I'd really like to get going and starting, like bringing to fruition. And as well as a bunch of other stuff. Hello, Maddox. Welcome in. But when you're working 2 jobs, I don't know. This last week, I've not had the blocks from Asuka Sensei back yet. And so I've actually had a little bit of time to like do some behind the scenes stuff. The stuff like the sticker books I got done. But it's tricky. It's tough. And stuff like brushing up on my Japanese and like improving that. If you don't have the time, and I know it sounds like an excuse, but like genuinely, I don't have the time to be studying. Something would have to be dropped. Right now, I'm on a swimming tick, and I'm trying to get fit or back in shape. So I'm not willing to drop that, and that's the only... That would free up an hour and a bit. There's always one thing in, one thing out. It's really difficult to add more stuff. I don't think I'd join the community project, but it does sound cool. I'm still working through a print sort of commemorating Sensei Martian's walk around Japan. Wow. Pictures, or it didn't happen. The issue so far is that I suck a bit too much at drawing and getting hard to the image in my head onto the block. Interesting. What sort of thing would you be thinking to do for that? Like a portrait or something a bit more abstract? Oh no. Jesus. Let me just finish this little section and then I can show you some of the sticker books. It's really cool to see so many people like taking up printmaking, having fun with it. Maybe we should do a little survey. I'm really curious to see what people enjoy more. Obviously, I have a very strong preference in one direction. Oh, and also I have a little bit of something to show you. A couple prints. we're going to do both of those things, maybe it's best to do this. Maybe we should do this now. What do you want to see first, stickers or a print? So choose your own adventure time. Small. Prints. Okay. So a little while ago, someone asked me if I could show any of the anime projects. And I have one that it's been a little while since I made it, so maybe we can show this, but you can't. I'm not the carver, all right? You can't go spreading this around. No screenshots. It's out there. You don't need to screenshot it. Like, it's a gnome print. This is just a print that I happen to have in my possession. I'm sure it's fine, but technically I didn't carve it. Or maybe I should say officially. I gotta change the lens if we're gonna look at prints. Let's give me 1 second. Let's switch the scene. All right, good to go. Remember this will go on YouTube, so think about it. No, it's okay. It's not that. I'm gonna get in trouble. I've already said I didn't even carve it. It's fine. That's a very good point, though. I'm archiving these videos myself, so thank you. You're one of the better ones out there. Everyone else just kept stum and let me dig my own grave. Let's pull this. Ooh, no. Maybe I could do it over here. The first one is the very first print I made. Is it? No. The first one I made was a little, after a year of taking classes. So it wasn't the very first print that I made. The first print I made in the workshop when I started. I guess I'd done maybe 6 months, like by myself, making little prints, like fiddling around with this. But the first print, after getting into the workroom, I didn't do any like art. I just did practice blocks. And my year memorial print was this one. And I guess lots of you have seen it. This one is not one of the nice copies. All the nice copies, they got sent away. I can take it out. All the nice copies got sent out to people. These are the ones that were like the dregs and left over. This is my first like full Nishkie. Nishkie is like multicolored printing. And I really should have calendared the paper first, I guess, because a lot of the lines, they got like kind of spread. I was a little bit heavy with the Baron. And you can see on these ones, we got like a little black smudge up here. Maybe I can zoom in. But this is me, 1 year carving. And some of the dots are okay in it. I was looking through and I was actually quite surprised at some of the delicacy. Like her feet and stuff, they're pretty. So the big thing about getting good at carving is you can quite, if you practice at it, quite quickly get to like some delicacy. But it's the agi. There's no flavor. There's no like life in any of these lines. They're all really dead to my eyes now. Back in then, I thought I maybe got a future at this. Some of it's kind of delicate, and the printing's like the yellow and the green here. It's printed kind of smooth, nice gradations. I'd be okay with that. Registration, I got the moisture of the paper all wrong and stuff. But yeah, this is 1 year. This is my 1 year memorial print. Memorial? That's wrong. I didn't die. Anyway, that was just in the file that I wanted to get the print of. But on the next page this is not a anniversary. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. This is not a finished print. This is just proof. This is one of the prints I made. Tenchi from Angel Beats. I think it's Angel Beats, yeah. I have no idea who the character is. I know it's Angel Beats though. And this one also, this really should have been calendared, because the lines I carved were much more delicate than this. Have you considered the connection between ukiyo-e and modern anime drawings of Pretty Girl? I think they're closer than you think. Is that a joke? This is sort of like the whole concept of this print, is that there's a connection between the two. Obviously, that like the original ukiyo-e prints were like, a lot of them were showing like kabuki actors and stuff, and they were there for the general public to sort of get a feel for like what was in the cultural zeitgeist at the time, and it was populist like material. Both features stylized faces. They have the same face syndrome. The hair is given extra focus. The clothes are given focus. They're the same. Yeah, no, this is a known thing. I'm not challenging you on that. Like, this is a woodblock print of an anime thing, and that connection has been made because we know that there's a connection between them. This is the first one maybe I made for this one. Anyway, yeah. And the original, the backstory on this one, I didn't make this obviously, but the backstory was, this is printed in Gofun, but the white lines on the original design that was given to the carver was just like the standard white you get when we're making leaving the paper tone to show the white through the paper. And the printer was going to have to line up all these colors. There's all the different colors here, they line up, and it was just to leave like a white gap around all these flowers, which would have been an absolute nightmare and would have looked disastrous. So we managed to push the designers to get them to print, let us do it in Gofun instead. Given the flowers, talk about a nightmare. Yeah, it's not a white gap. No. This one is printed in Gofun. The design called for a white gap, but it would have been insane. It would have been nuts. And it depends on who's doing the quality control, but I would regret if I was doing the quality control on selecting that. If it hadn't been Gofun, it would have been like maybe 20% of the prints would have got through with that, I guess. Yeah, so that's it. That was the first one. Can't really show you any of the others. We'll leave it like that. Some anonymous carver make that. And that is out there in the world. Not lilac. What are we talking about? I must have missed something. We have an ad. Someone did a good job. But yeah, thank you. On the topics of aesthetics, I wonder if you have any thoughts on the stylistic choices of traditional Japanese print art, things like choices not to feature shadows. My opinion on the aesthetic stylistic choices of Japanese prints, there's like so many different things we could talk about. It's like a really vast topic. I think maybe questions like that, it'd probably be easier to do that one by one and like actually looking at some prints. What was the one choices not to feature shadows? Here's one that doesn't feature a shadow. And I have no real input on why they didn't use shadows. It is something that's also sort of baffled me. Why did they not use shadows? Why is it all like sticker? Because they can do shadows in the traditional brush painting. You see lots of it. And it just seems that it was just one of those stylistic things. It's possible to do in woodblock. It's possible to do with an ink brush. But I guess it kind of heavily relies on, unless you're just drawing a circle underneath, it sort of relies on perspective. And maybe these are things we just take for granted now that, like, obviously we understand perspective intuitively now because it's just like part of the artistic sort of collective consciousness that we all have. Well, slept in today. Good morning, good morning. So yeah, maybe other things, artistic, stylistic choices we can talk about in the future. Typically the art side, like I have an appreciation for these, and I'm quite knowledgeable about the production of them. But in terms of like art history and how the movements were set up and why they're on like that, I don't know as much about that stuff. Like I can't speak as an authority. Ad break. Oh no, sorry. I did warn you. It was a warned. Hello, Koringami. Back from the ads in a second. While we have this here, is this my book? Is this the correct one? Maybe not. Where's my one? I've just lost it. I prepared it just before the stream. Should be here. Anyway, while I've got this camera set up so we don't have to keep switching back and forth, let me talk to you about these. I am missing the sample though. I did just have it. That'd be silly if I'd done that. But we do silly things on autopilot. Nanda. ちょっと待って. I think I maybe left it in the other drawer. No. どこ行っちゃった? What were we saying at the start of the stream? That like I'm on the ball today. Everything's going great. Did I knock it over? Nanda, Nanda. Oh, I can't even show you it. It's gonna be in a really obvious place. Hold on the back. I wasn't gonna say it. Yeah. It's currently this is a personalized notebook. The one I want to show you has all the modifications in it. Basically, I started making stickers for my Patreon. I have a little file of stickers here. I started making stickers for my Patreons so I could give something to the lower tier members, the people who are only paying like a couple pounds a month, and I can't really afford to send them a print. Financially, it just doesn't work. So I wanted to make something else that was like woodblock related, and I ended up making some a collection of stickers and yeah. And I made a collection of stickers. I'm making these fan-shaped ones. Are ones I release one of these quarterly. And these are sort of like tooltips. This one is like how to sharpen your knife. This one is about how to clear wood. And then the other ones are like I get to be a little bit more free with them. Sometimes they are like a glossy area of terms. This one is representing the name of the knife, the kanji for the knife. And this one was to celebrate my new website. And so I wanted to make this was one idea I had, like a Pokemon, like a card collection thing I found. I made a bunch of different samples, but ended up going with a notebook. These are moleskin notebooks that I used to make all my original notes when I was going to class. And I'd always keep one of these in my pocket. There was one always, I have like several of these, so my notes are all kind of scattered. But I'd always keep one of these in my pocket when I went to the core and write down any things I picked up. And so I thought it'd be a nice little callback to use these for collecting stickers. I made a little cover page. I put the original, the logo sticker in there. And the idea is that people can add their own notes in the back when they're watching along with the stream, maybe. These back pages are removable, and then there are information cards to go along with all the stickers. Has anyone thought of turning small-scale prints like match labels into stickers, or does the technology not merge well with washi? This was the thing they used to make. They didn't really used to make them in stickers, but they used to make them so people could glue them into things. That's the sort of concept behind this. It's that I have a book here of old designs from like the Taisho and Showa era, and these type of match label things were, back in the day, they were all made with woodblock prints. These ones are offset printed versions, but in the olden days, everything was made with mokanga because there was no printers. You can see the halftones on this. So this is the era just after they've all moved over into offset and lithography and stuff like that. But originally, this type of designs, they were made long before this era and as little advertisements and stuff. And if they needed to stick them to anything, they just had a bit of glue. And the design on the front cover, I bought this book as like an inspiration piece for creating my stickers, because I'm sort of going for a Taisho Showa aesthetic with the stuff I'm making. Where was that one? There was a little car in here that I thought was really cool, and then that was the inspiration for this one. I really like this, and so you can see that was the inspiration for making my own little truck, which is carrying wood blocks. Maybe I can zoom in. Just taking its wood blocks. I'm really annoyed the book's not here, honestly. It looks really good with all the stickers inside. Nanda. Zanen. No way. No. Anyway, I can't waste any more time on that. We have to be kind of sharpish today. But well, is that tomorrow's track? Yeah, it's on brand actually. I hadn't thought about that. Anyway, let's get back to carving. The Taran mobile. What a bummer. Let's just get carving again. I have many moleskin notebooks for everyday carry, but unfortunately the paper isn't the best variety for drawing medium. So I ended up making my own. Yeah, I used to love drawing my little moleskins. I guess they have a bunch of different papers, and some of them are better. 5 minutes after the stream, it will suddenly appear. Plain as day, yeah, for sure. I'm glad to put this out. So yeah, the stamp on the front, I didn't mention that. It's I bought a leather brand, and I was really struggling with a bunch of different books to like try and get this stamped on. I tried with like bleach to bleach them. I tried just like embossing it in, and it wasn't working. I wasn't getting a clear impression, and I was messing up a bunch of different samples for different books I was using. But I ended up just burning it in, and it worked really well. But a lot of the other books, it was an absolute nightmare with. Before I settled on the moleskin. Never financially recovered from buying a moleskin. You bought a fancy one. Is the idea? I think I read on one of their like pamphlets one time that actually the paper used to be. Was it like parchment? They used to make it from moleskin in the past. I bet if you contacted Field Notes to collaborate, they would make match label notebooks. Field Notes, you have to elaborate. I'm not sure. Starting work day. Have a safe trip to Nagoya. Ah, thank you, Spiegel. You have a nice day at work. Thank you for stopping by. I just want to spend like a couple minutes just to find it because I know it's here. Did I take it to show Achan? Maybe it got lost in the file. I just got to give up. I'll show you next stream. The best notebook is one stolen from the bank. The best pencil is one stolen from school. The banks give out notebooks. Stolen stuff is the best, especially when it's like really inconsequential. No real guilt attached. Because they got a little story to them. The guy doesn't want to go either way. Off camera. Wood's been funky both ways. It's gonna bother me all day. I'm gonna be sitting in the car like, why couldn't I just find that notebook? One last play. Nah. Fully given up. Kind of fibrous, the wood here. I'm having to be really careful. The grain direction. The ideal grain direction is like slightly sloping in one direction, but you can get away with going the other way. When it's almost perfectly flat, like it feels like the grain direction is getting flat here. The grain is tight enough that I can like, it's not just flaking and splintering everywhere. It's a nice, reasonably hard key block. It's not the hardest. Their watercolor books are nice. And if you want one same size, weight, paper, number of pages exactly, buy the Canson, 1/3 the price. Interesting. Yeah, I know they're overpriced. The reason I ended up going with these ones is because they come in a 3-pack for a very reasonable price, these ones. You guys are having fun with Pineapple Pen. I'll leave you to I'll stay away from that one. Just before I close stream, I'm gonna get up one last time and do a big search. Today was one of the only days that I got ready for the stream. I did the title and everything. I made sure that I had everything sorted. I sat down to make some notes, make some little bullet points on a sticky note. I couldn't remember what I did this weekend, but I put effort into doing it. I couldn't recall. Basically, all the sticky notes today. My notes for today was talk about book and trip. That was it. This is one of the most god awful streams we've ever had. I'm sorry if you're a new chatter here today. Usually, there's more energy. There's more information. There's usually a few more technical difficulties. We've been okay on that front today. But I guess the trade-off for poorer content is not a very good trade-off. Anyway, welcome in. I'm a professional. At least I got the stream title. Yeah. What we have to do is we do little bits, and eventually one day we'll have some sort of planet alignment. Mars is in retrograde at the moment. That's the problem. But when they align, we'll get all these, the content, the mood, the energy, everything will be right on that line. What are you apologizing for? Are you apologizing for Pineapple Pen? They made the camera in your pen obvious so that you don't notice the one in your fridge. I don't know. At least the music's nice. Well, we got 10 minutes. I promise you, the last 5 minutes are going to be the most exciting of this when I get up and look for that notebook. No one's ever told me I'm got an obsessive personality before. I make my pocket size out of 30, no, that's a 6, 68 grams Tomio River paper. They will handle every medium. I haven't tried oil paint. I have no comment. I don't know what Tomio River paper is. I never really got into making my own notebooks. I only ever made them out of necessity. When I worked in kindergarten, I used to make them for the kids all the time, but that was just printer paper. It wasn't very good. Like many people, I assume, I used to kind of collect notebooks and start a bunch of different projects in them, and then just have so many notebooks that I've got 15 pages maybe finished in each one, and then just blank, blank, blank. And then it's too precious to go back and add little bits in. You don't want to. I was always too precious with my notebooks. And if you start a new notebook and you're not happy with the first piece, that's okay. You rip the page out. But when you've got a really nice notebook, I know that the theory is you shouldn't be precious with your notebook. You should, like, not treat them as like finished products. That's how you get drawing in them. But if you start with a nice one, then you want to keep going like that. And you see all these like really aesthetic notebooks. So I always used to practice on loose when I was like drawing, painting back in my day. I managed to finish it. Midori notebooks. Wow. Congratulations. Finishing a sketchbook is like, it's a real accomplishment, I think, you know. I made enough content to fill them, but they weren't always in the right place. Secret to not being precious about your new sketchbook is to draw a dick on it on the front page, like straight out of middle school. That way it's ruined. That's actually a really, it sounds like a joke, but I actually really like that. That's a good piece of advice. We used to spend so much time in school. Like, one person in the middle of the class, you'll ask, like, can I check your notes or something? You'd pass it back, and they'd be like, we were young, we were boys. It'd be like a penis on someone's in the middle of someone's notes. And I got really good. Like, I was the doctor of like turning them into different stuff so you wouldn't get told off. So people used to hand me their books sometimes to like fix. That's a good creative challenge. You got to teach someone about the Papal S. Penis Doodle Fixer. Yeah. Who are you gonna call? That must have been such an experience, son. The famous X. Or maybe you think you're being really cool. Like, here's this incredible thing that everyone was obsessed with in school. You just do 3 lines, and then they look at you and they go, "What?" Maybe out of time and place, it means nothing to them. And you're like, "No, no, this is cool. This is like history. Everyone loves these things." What? Why? And then you have to try and explain it. I can't. Why did everyone do that letter S? iPad generation. What is this stream, honestly? Also like the paper that travelers' notebooks used, but I would love them more if the notebooks were sewn instead of stapled. Yeah, stapled notebooks suck. Right. Uh, your notebook conversations are thrilling. But we have a minute and a half before the ads, and I'm going to do a quick scout around the room. Bear with me, and then we're going to say goodbye, and I'm going to go to bed because I got to get up early. Right. Let me just check over here. Have a backup. Have a backup. While I'm searching, enjoy. I actually need it though. That's right, I won't get any sleep tonight. It's not the one. Honestly, I don't believe it. It's all chat's fault. Yes, that's great. Thank you. Who was that, Nika? That's great. Just blame chat. Just blame chat. Honestly, I have no idea what it is. I do have a version 1 though. Lost something. Yeah, this is the sticker book. Basically, I've remade all these. I've been sending these like description cards out with all the I can't help myself from looking with all the stickers. So I redid these and I put them on sticky and they looks really sick now. Anyway, this is how it's gonna go. This is how I laid out mine. I'm gonna put the sort of tooltip ones here in the corner so you can flip through it and get one of these. I'm quite happy with it. Anyway, that's it. We're done. The knife fan looks super cool. Thank you. I like that one. It's actually just because I want to show off. I really enjoy this. You can check your knife. It's perfect dimensions. You can check your knife angle. I'm currently rocking a 30 on this knife. And this is my 37. I did mine are 45. It chips a lot less frequently if you're using 45. I'm glad you used it. Let me just check the chat before we fly. Ad break starting in 1 minute. 1 second. Oh no. Let me just finish the chat. Been several years since I last looked into the matter, so many of the details escape me at this time. New paper is to buy now means bad for my understanding. However, the original paper is still slightly nicer from my memory. I think maybe you're talking Moleskines? Traveling sketchbook. Yeah. Is everyone back? Is everyone back? Is this... No. Thank you for the showing up. I'm sorry it was so chaotic. Should we see if there's anyone to raid? I don't have time to hang around. But we can check if someone we know is on. No one there. Have a good night. I think we'll just end it there. We don't want to do a re-raid again. That's it. Good night. Bye.